Okay, here's an interesting vid on one of the many anomalies that are found in Egypt. This is a black basalt facade or flattened area, if you will, that's all around the side of the pyramid here, the Great Pyramid itself, and it you can see how flat all of that is across the plane there. And of course, it's got some dents and diddles in it and things like that, which is erosion over time. They say at one time this thing was polished, but not to the point that you see inside the temples, which in itself is a strange anomaly when you figure out what type of equipment they had. How are they polishing these things to the mirrored finish that they actually end up attaining on them? But that's probably a whole nother video in itself. In fact, just a little anomaly like this can bring about quite a bit of information and things to look at. You see the camel driver there, he pulls up to the edge of this and he's got a little ladder on the other side of it, and he'll take you on a ride, and it's an easier way for people to get up. So this is what where he likes to park it at, and everybody has their own little spot, by the way, kind of like taxi cabs, and that is the taxi cab of the ancient Egyptians. So interesting fact here, though, is if you'll look right there at the front face of all this and the bedrock that's there. Now, that's just natural bedrock, you can see. Just limestone itself, right? But you see how irregular shaped that it is and how bumpy and dimpled and crimpled it is? And yet you see these black stones and how they're all set together. And if you get up on top of it and look at it, it's got that cool little cutout little lines everywhere. They're all fit together real symmetrically. Just like all the ancient megalithic stonework things, most of them that I've done, where it almost looks like somebody melted a bunch of marshmallows and stuck them all together, or made a bread pudding out of it and just stuck it together like these people were able to make. Well, I got all these screwed up angles. And they're like, here's a rock that fits right in there. Like, how do you have that technology whenever today we wouldn't even do it that way because of the difficulty involved in doing it that way? Well, imagine this, that these people had to take and make flat-sided rocks on one side, and on the other side it had to be dimpled to match this rimply ground, to where whenever you put it down on the ground, it was flat up against all the other ones in their dimples that are rising and lowering, and yet symmetrical and tight up against the other ones, to where you can see up on top it's a flat plane. But you can see from the edging here that it's not flat up under there at all. It's so wiggly and bumpy. I mean, it's just it's incredible that they didn't flatten it out in any way, shape, or form. But yet they made the rocks to sit on there and then flatten the tops of them. Now, was this just a pile of basalt at one time and they flattened the whole top together? Did they just half squish them together and the tops were bad and the bottoms fit the ground and then they cleave the tops off? Or did they pre-make these individually to somehow subset inside of here like a puzzle work and match the bottom, and the tops were flat? And they're not cankered around either. They're not pitched back and forth or anything like that. They're just straight on. It's an incredible thing. Now this comes out some 70 yards at this point right here, but it used to come out much farther than we are. People have taken a lot of these stones where we're currently standing in the picture, but it used to come out a lot farther down. The camel used to not be able to stand where he does. It was all across there, and to our left also, and it abruptly ends around one side. And they don't know if it was all the way around it at one time, or if this was one ceremonial side, or the side that they used to do some certain ceremonies on. There might have even been statues sitting up here at one time, or some type of whole facade thing that's totally been taken away a long, long time ago because of its stonework and its possible usage. And again, the Great Pyramid there, the very edges, if you see the lighter stones right where it meets the pyramid, those are the very last of the beveled stones that used to sit on top of all that bric-a-brac work up there. But then, just like this flooring here, were somehow symmetrical and flat and made the whole surface of it pretty much a flat plane. But yet, if you look at the bric-a-brac the way that is, I mean, it's fairly uniform. But then when you get up to look at it and how bric-a-brac it is, it's not uniform at all. And each one of those white casing tablets would have to have been made individually, basically, to go across this entire thing, and every single one of them up to an exacting measurement that was based on the height and width of the one before and the ones it was going up against and the ones that are past it in a preemptive way on every single rock, making the facade around the entire thing. It just gets to be an incredible anomaly, but this one little basalt area here out front is just dumbfounding how somebody could build something that would be so uneven. None of these are like, got big cavities up under them. They're pretty much tight to the ground, even though the ground's dimpled like crazy. Now, I don't know if there's a little point like right up here out front, that's right down here. I don't know if there's a dimple like that that's up under these rocks and they've got a dimple that deep set up into them, or if they just have a cavity that's bigger than that, as big as a basketball or whatever it is, or is it made to even have the angles of them? They haven't flipped a few of these over to find out. And the ones that should be out here that have already been taken away from that, of course, got taken away a long time ago. But what an anomaly in stonework did you see right here, and how this was actually performed. And most people just look this aside. I mean, I've seen people literally walking around on this thing and not even thinking about its effect, and just looking at the pyramids and all the stuff because of its grandeur, and not even realize that they're standing there. It's almost a can't see the trees for the forest situation when you look at something like this in detail and try to figure out what the hell were they thinking. And wow, I mean, just wow. And like, share, and subscribe, guys, and I'll be back with another one here on. I'm going to redo the one that I did on the Sphinx and the erosion pattern around it, because it's gotten so far back in the mix it's gotten lost. In fact, I've done 2 of them, so this will be a third inclination onto it, just a slight direction difference on it. But y'all have a great day.